You're listening to the Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast, and I'm Lou Temlett. I'm guessing you're having a good day because either you've been on the mats, considering getting on the mats, or maybe you're still growing. I'm so happy you're here listening or watching this episode. Please don't tap out before the end. When you see your child trying really hard, start Jiu Jitsu. I'd like to welcome Daniela Vilaça to my podcast. Hi, Daniela. How are you doing?
Hi, Lou. I'm good. How are you?
Great, thank you. It's fantastic to be able to chat with you on the back of kind of recent months, meeting you in person for the second time at the British Open gi competition with the new weight categories for females, which is incredible. It just gives us the opportunity to fight equal opponents, so to speak. How was that experience for you, Daniela, for the British Open?
Yeah, that was really good. It was really scary, but it was really good to have you guys there with me. We were all in the same boat. We were all excited about our new divisions. We was all excited about new opponents, people that wouldn't usually come to our brackets. So that was really good.
Yeah, you've just given me tingles then. You're right in saying, it was a great event and we've had a little bit of time to reflect. And it is incredible the work that has been put in by Kira and kind of everyone else in the over 75 kind of group. We've been campaigning wholeheartedly and all the time and everywhere for more weight categories above 75 kilos. Maybe you can explain, Daniela, what the problems were around, the weight categories for women.
So we was finding that we all was just getting thrown in the, what was it, plus 69?
Plus 79, I think.
Was it plus 79?
But it was still,
That is just wild. It is such a vast bracket because you get women that are 79 kilos and then you get women like me that are 110 plus kilos.
Yeah.
For me to fight someone that small, I'm fighting against speed. I don't have a lot of speed. And then they're fighting against me who has a lot of weight and pressure.
Yep.
And it's just sometimes
different games.
Different games, and sometimes they would clash. Sometimes they would give great jiu-jitsu matches. But I think it's just been a lot fairer for the women of these categories to have fairer fights for them and for it to be a bit more of an equal opportunity.
Absolutely, especially when the men's categories kind of split out a lot more at those ranks. I mean, the men seem to fill a lot of those categories, probably because there are more men training jiu-jitsu in the first instance. But a way to encourage more women is to have more varied not age categories, weight categories. We've already got the age categories. I just don't have any other women in Masters 4 right now to fight, Daniela. But we're getting there. We're getting there. And I think you're right in saying that, the heavier women are dealing with speed, but then the lighter women in the over 79 kg are dealing with pressure. I went out to Barcelona for my first fight, and I reckon I was probably around 115 kilos. I was really grateful not to be weighed because, as women, we hold a lot of stigma traditionally around our weight. Some of us don't care, and actually that comes with time and experience, I feel, because society gives us such a level of pressure for size, whether it's kind of really small or really big or somewhere in between. There's always judgment, and actually it takes a strong woman like ourselves to go, no, go away. I don't need to hear that judgment. It's not my opinion of myself. It's somebody else's. And that's kind of that barrier that we need to put in place to save ourselves. But equally, having those additional weight categories really is starting, like you say, to bring more women into the competitive jiu-jitsu, which is great for all of us.
Yeah, because when I did the no-gi British Open in November, in the super heavyweight, it was just me and another girl.
Yeah.
We didn't even get a best out of 3 fights. It was just a one fight and done. I hoped that we was going to get best out of 3, but we didn't do best out of 3. We just had the one fight.
Yeah.
And then I've paid all that money for just the one fight, and then I feel disheartened because I feel like I could have gone again. And
yeah,
so it was amazing to see so many of us at British Open. Okay, there was maybe like, I don't know, 8 to 10 of us that might be pushing it, but it's a lot more than 2.
Yeah, exactly. And this is about kind of making changes little by little, as much as we possibly can. And I know a number of organizations, Reorg, I know, have their new kind of gi and no gi female weight categories, which is just incredible for the lower weights as well as the heavier weights.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're not all called super heavy 1, 2, and 3. Actually, they've changed the naming, which, do you know what? I was so grateful to see the new names, because, you know, in the men's categories, you kind of have light heavyweight and all those other things.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, yes, we know we're overweight, but actually there's kind of a nice way to describe some of these weight categories as well, as having all of the kind of additional fairness that the men have already been, you know, kind of privileged to have.
Yeah.
So more women to fight, Daniela. Are you a kind of a very well, I do know that you're a very competitive competitor. Talk to me about your competition history.
I'm very new to competition. I competed a couple of times as a blue belt. I probably only competed once as a white belt. I'm very, very scared, anxious. I've never done any sport in my life, let alone a competitive sport like jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu was the first sport I ever did in my life. I didn't go to a PE lesson from year 9 onwards when it wasn't compulsory that I had to do PE. I was like, see you later, I'm bunking this lesson. So yeah, doing jiu-jitsu as a competitive sport was really daunting on me. It was really, really scary. And I think through the years, I've built up tiny little bits of confidence where I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go and have a go for myself. Just to prove myself either right or wrong. So yeah, British Open was luckily successful for me. I trained very hard. I trained very hard for it leading up to the competition. I worked a lot on the mental barriers that I had within myself. A lot of doubts, a lot of not of believing in myself. Yeah, go back to the doubts, because I don't ever think that I'm as good as everybody else. But yeah, we did it.
We did, and you came out with double gold.
Yeah, I did.
And a purple belt, Daniela.
I did. That was very surprising.
Congratulations.
I was hoping to simmer in my blue belt for a bit longer. But again, that's not my choice. I'm not my own coach. So they obviously see something in me that I don't. But I am starting to see it. I feel like I've got purple belt powers.
Nice. You absolutely have purple belt powers. And I think some of us could see those powers before, but it's really interesting that you had self-doubt, and you may still carry some, but you present as such a bubbly, engaging, fun individual, because the British Open was where I actually got to speak to you. We hadn't spoken before, but making eye contact and wandering over and speaking as if we'd spoken 100 times before. Just so amazing. And I'm so grateful to kind of have you in my network and be able to just talk to you as if I've known you forever. And that's what the jiu-jitsu community kind of gives us all. And I never expected that from jiu-jitsu, Daniela. And the more I've kind of connected with other women in jiu-jitsu, the more beautiful and wonderful our journeys are becoming.
Yeah, because we can be quite intimidating, I feel like.
Yes.
Because sometimes when I go to these competitions, we all look scary. And it's not until you stop and speak to one of these girls that you realise, okay, they're just as normal as I am. You just forget that in the moment, because we're all in the zone. We're all trying to get in the right head frame to compete, because we are competing this. We're competing for something that we all want. We all want the same thing. We all want that gold medal at the end of the day. and to step out of that mind frame. I know for myself, I got myself into a certain zone. I was listening to my tunes, and
Yep.
I tried to not watch any of our bracket matches to defer my brain. I actually sat at the side and just listened to my music, and I was just watching the
Yep.
black belts. If anything, I was just in awe of watching the black belts compete.
Mm.
So yeah.
I love it. So the first time I met you was at the RGA Buckingham opening,
Yes.
and I saw you and your kind of crowd of friends, and I'd just kind of driven up and thought I'm going to go and support Cara and the rest of the team at RGA Buckingham, which was just such a lovely event to be there on
So
the
nice.
opening day of a new gym. And I love how many new gyms are opening. There's just so many opportunities to
Yeah,
travel
it's great.
and train, which
Yeah,
and meet new people, which is incredible.
yeah, and loads of women. And I'm so grateful because we get to share that space where, like you said, we're such a tight knit community in women's
Mm.
jiu-jitsu. It is so nice to just travel and share that space with other like-minded women.
Yeah,
Because as much as there is a lot of women that train jiu-jitsu, maybe in your local areas there isn't a lot of women that train jiu-jitsu. So when
yeah,
we do travel and go to these open mats and go to these gym openings that are inclusive to women, it's so nice just to meet other like-minded women.
yeah. And also because we've kind of gone through the journey of dropping the judgment, dropping the opinions, because we are so in our own game, not from an ego perspective, but we're just comfortable in ourselves if we're
Yeah,
training jiu-jitsu. And
yeah,
we've kind of stripped away everything else that we don't need in life. Obviously, we've got friends and family and everything else, but on the jiu-jitsu mats, we are just ourselves. You know,
yeah,
identities of being a mum or a partner or whatever it happens to be. Um,
yeah,
we are just unique and our own people, which, you
100%,
know, there aren't many
100%.
places in society where you can go and meet other women, um, and just know that you are just that individual and there's nothing
Yeah,
else kind of coming in on that space.
add into it. Yeah,
So
yes.
lush, so lush. Daniela, this is our second recording. I will confess. Um, uh, sorry, Daniela. We recorded late one night, and these summer evenings get so dark so quickly. And I know kind of this episode is going out at the end of September, and we're approaching kind of the darker season.
Yeah.
But Daniela was losing light rapidly, not in
By the
energy,
second, by the second.
and it wasn't recoverable. So we're here again, recording fresh on the morning, which is incredible. But I remember you've kindly reminded me that last time we spoke very much around your bunking PE lessons as a kid,
Yes.
and I do want to kind of expand on that again for this recording, because I think it's really important that the kind of mindset, the feelings around, women and girls, even at that stage, not
Yeah.
feeling comfortable to take part in sports.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your journey around and that time in your life.
Yeah. I've always been the bigger girl. Um, Looking back at pictures of myself in school, I actually
Yeah,
wasn't that big, but in comparison to the other little girls that were in school with me,
yeah,
I was a lot larger than them. So for me to participate in just PE, whether it was rounders or I don't know basketball or whatever, I just wasn't comfortable in it because I wasn't able in my brain. I
yeah,
wasn't fit enough. I wasn't strong enough. I didn't have the stamina to do the bleep test and stuff. And to me, that was just I'd rather
yeah,
save myself the embarrassment.
yeah.
Um, and looking back, other than the horrible kids, nobody was probably looking at me like that.
No,
It was probably all in my head. But yeah, it was still there, and I still decided to bunk
yeah,
PE from
yeah,
year nine onwards. Never
yeah.
went to the gym after leaving school. Um,
Mm,
just carried on, gradually getting bigger and almost
yeah,
normalizing my bigness and unhealthiness. And I'm not saying that being big is unhealthy or anything because I've lived this through my whole life,
yeah,
and I am healthy as a big person now.
yeah,
But yeah, it was very difficult growing up, and
yeah,
like one of my best friends, she used to dive for Team GB, and she was a diving coach. And I have another best friend who was a really good sprinter, and she used to go to all the county sports and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just like, nah, see you later, I'm going bunking. I'm going to get chips.
Yes. So I think as a teenager, kind of 12, 13, maybe 14, is that the kind
Yeah,
of age?
yeah, I think
Um,
you're not around 14, yeah.
I think it's a really influential time. And I think girls today, some of that starts even earlier. But if you're not, you'll resonate with this, and hopefully some people listening. If you don't feel like you're the regular size girl, kind of parts of your body are bigger than everybody else's, and it's all about comparison because we're trying to find our way in the world,
Hmm.
and all around us there are people that aren't like us, and
Yeah,
I often now reflect and go, that was probably everyone's experience, but how they deal with it and how they're kind of supported through their kind of childhood and kind of teenage years
yeah,
is incredibly, important.
yeah.
And obviously, we had all the kind of teenage magazines or the more grown-up magazines, because I'm sure I was reading Cosmo about age 11 or 12 at that
Yeah,
point.
same. Getting
Um,
all the freebies.
yeah, and that was kind of the waif models and everything else, and it was in our face. We didn't need the social media to give us a hard time. It was
No,
magazines that we actually paid money for.
yeah,
um on
taunting
reflection,
us.
I can't quite believe we did that, Daniela, but you know we were all doing it, weren't we?
100%. There was a lot of us doing it. And even though we didn't see it, there was a lot of girls
Yeah.
going through it at the same time.
Yeah, lots of challenges for young girls, particularly,
Yeah,
and I remember, some of the guys as well. Certainly, those of us that were kind of bigger, we all had a hard time at school,
100%.
and I really feel now that that the bullying around size and differences, whatever it happens to be, has diminished. And I know there might be pockets of society that still generate that kind of bullying mentality, but
Yeah,
it feels easier. I'm not
mhm,
living through it, but
yeah,
and I'm not saying we had the hardest time, but
yeah,
life, life has a way of giving us challenges that allow us to grow our mindset and change
100%.
the way we kind of protect ourselves, but also then
Yeah,
expand our boundaries to go, this is right for me. This is not right for me. You can just go
yeah,
away and do one. Um,
exactly.
what was the hardest thing about kind of? I was going to say doing PE lessons. If you didn't do them, what was the kind of hardest thing around that, or did it just get ignored?
I would say it like you just said, it kind of just got ignored. Um, my mum didn't have any idea that I was bunking every PE lesson.
Yeah,
I would, she knows now, but I was forging her signature on medical notes, and
yeah,
I literally every time. My
yeah,
teachers eventually got to the point where they just knew what I was doing and just left me to it and
yeah,
didn't care that I was in the science block when I'm not supposed to be in the
yeah,
science block, or if I was bunking behind the youth club or playing pool in the youth club when I should be on the pitch playing rounders or something.
yeah,
Everyone kind of just ended up letting me do what I was doing.
yeah,
So then it was never changed.
yeah. And I think now, exercise and kind of taking part in group kind of sport activities is so worthwhile for young
100%.
people,
Yeah.
um, even when you don't realize it. And I don't think things we could get away with certain things during our school years, Danielle. I know I've kind of got more than 10 years on you, but I was a very good girl at school, but there were things that I got away with, and I just, maybe it's the same today, but that's kind of a rite of passage for young people
Yeah.
to kind of break some of those rules and, just to have a bit of fun because
Yeah.
seriously, whatever anyone thinks about the education system,
Yeah.
there are lots of ways of learning and developing our skills
100%.
and abilities, and that's not always in school,
Yeah.
which we both know. Um,
Exactly.
what what were the rest of the kind of school time like for you?
I had a really good time in school. I wasn't the brightest spark of the bunch. But yeah, I had a really good set of friends.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to go back home to Brazil during the summer holidays to visit my family, and we just had a good time. Back then in late 90s, early 2000s, it was a good time for us. We was always out playing with our friends. School was very sociable. School was very
Yeah.
fun. Probably could have done a lot better in my schoolwork. If I knew what I knew now then, I would have done so much better in school, like for a lot of us in our generation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a good upbringing. I did.
I'm going to come back to that kind of friends and the community piece in a minute, Daniela.
Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by 210 Jiu Jitsu, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu school based in Luton that is for the people. This community-driven club offers gi and no-gi classes, including a dedicated ladies class on a Tuesday evening. They also offer jiu-jitsu classes for kids aged 6 to 9 and also 10 plus age classes, as well as a 2-hour open mat on a Saturday morning. What is special about 210 Jiu-Jitsu is the community focus and friendships. When you want to go and learn and develop your jiu-jitsu skills, as well as become part of their supportive community, head over to 210jiujitsu.com and go and follow 210 Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram.
This is a Jiu-Jitsu Lou podcast with me, Lou Temlett, coming to you from the UK. I really do need you to subscribe on whichever platform you are listening or watching on. And as always, the video clips are on Instagram and YouTube. And within the next month, if you're listening to this on the day it goes out, 25th of October, over at Rising Tide Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Western Supermare, is the celebration of the 100 episodes of the Jiu-Jitsu Lou podcast. You are all welcome. Come along. It's a free event. I'm hoping to put on a Grand Prix, which I still need to organise, but there will be an open mat regardless. So come and fight, all of us that are going to be there. Today, I'm having a conversation with Daniela Vilaça. So, Daniela, you talk about having that friend community and, kind of enjoying your school time. And I think when we find a group of female friends and we're continuing that journey with friendships throughout our life, it really makes a massive difference. And some of us may not have found those friendships in school or university or whatever, or in work, but actually jiu-jitsu gives us that friendship connection that we may not have had, but it sounds like it's something you've continued throughout your life. And I can see it when I see you and the other women, at the RGA Buckingham and at the British Open. It's just so amazing to see and heartwarming for those of us that might not have had such deep and amazing friendships with lots of women throughout our lives.
Yeah, I've been very lucky. My best friends that were my best friends in school, I'm so grateful they're still my best friends now. We've been best friends, some of them since year 5, 6, and we're still friends now, and we're 34, turning 35.
Yeah.
And now, as an adult, a lot of my female friends are from jiu-jitsu. Like, my best friends that are my best friends, they don't do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But they get me into jiu-jitsu, and they get me and my jiu-jitsu friends. The community of girls that I've been lucky to build at my gym. Me and Tara Hay started the ladies class at our gym a couple of years ago, and we've just been so lucky to bring so many different women into the gym who are now our friends. And I'm really good friends with Coach Carter, Haley Carter, and the girls over in Milton Keynes. They were the girls that I started my jiu-jitsu journey with, the baguettes. And I always say that they're the baguettes and I'm the baguette fill-in because I come from Luton to them, so I'm filling their baguettes. And I've actually got on the back of my phone, if you can see.
Oh, that is so cool.
A sticker that the baguettes got for me. And I'm really grateful for those girls, because if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't have continued jiu-jitsu, because I started training with those girls in Milton Keynes predominantly once a week. And they were my safety net for a long, long time, for about a year or two of me starting jiu-jitsu. They were my safety net. Love them.
Yeah, I think it's incredible that, you know, just seeing such great friendships. And I think any of us that have started jiu-jitsu, guys or girls, there is those one or two people that you started jiu-jitsu with, if they're still training and still in your network, you will always be able to connect with them and just have a conversation. I know I've got one or two individuals, and, you know, like you say, they're your safety net.
Yeah.
And we never thought we'd find these dear friendships through jiu-jitsu. Talk to me about some of your early days in training and what the kind of ground was like for you, especially if there were only a few women training.
Yeah, so I live in Luton in Bedfordshire, and I found that when I started training, there wasn't any women's only classes in Luton, and that was just my personal preference of how I wanted to start jiu-jitsu. It's not to say you can't go to a mixed gym and start jiu-jitsu. I just felt more comfortable because I was so big and I was so embarrassed of my body that I wasn't confident enough to go into a mixed gym and just start training jiu-jitsu. So it was actually my husband who found a jiu-jitsu self-defense class that was being taught at our mosque. And he saw that it was Hayley teaching, and he's a black belt, so he's been doing jiu-jitsu for years. So he'd known about Hayley before I knew about Hayley. He knew that she was a great competitor and she was a great girl. So he was like, yeah, this would be the perfect place for you to go and start. So he sent me there. So I went there and had the best time. And then I did a 6-week self-defense course with Hayley there. And then after that, Hayley was like, this is too little for you. You need to come to my ladies class in Milton Keynes. They would be so good for you. So then I started going to Hayley's ladies class on a Friday in Milton Keynes, and I was training once a week, and it was hell. Like I thought I was going to throw up after every session. Hayley can vouch for this. I was like a little red tomato. I would get caught under Chloe's mount and be like this for the whole 4 or 5 minute rounds, just like getting armbarred, getting wrist locked. And I'd come home every Friday and just be like, Aaron, how the fudge do I get out of this high mount? I'm just stuck. And he always used to say to me something so stupid. I wanted to punch him in the throat. He was like, don't get there in the first place. And I was like, yeah, well done, buddy.
Thanks for that.
But then no, after that, Hayley gave me so much confidence that I was like, okay, I need to start training more than once a week for me to get out of this high mount that I'm being traumatized under. So then I started coming to my husband's fundamental classes on a Monday. So I would train at Hayley's on a Friday and at his mixed class on a Monday because my daughter was training there and a young girl called Tara Hay was training there. And at the time, her and another girl called Izzy were the only females in that class. So I was like, if these little girls can do it, because they must have been about 16, 17 at the time.
Wow.
And I was like, and if these two are in the mixed classes, Daniela's got to be able to do the mixed classes. So then I started training the mixed classes with them, and I was just getting battered by these 16-year-olds. Now I'd gone from one extreme of getting battered by Chloe to another extreme of getting battered by very physical, able, athletic 16-year-olds. And I was just this big 30-year-old fat girl that just couldn't move anywhere.
I want to kind of pause an echo. So when we are white belts, getting stuck in high mount on the bottom, of course, is a thing. You kind of, I now have PTSD from my early white belt days being stuck in high mount. Thanks for that, Daniela. But you know, your partner, husband was right in saying it's not getting there in the first place. But we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. But
he was right.
Now, yeah, exactly. And getting out of the high mount, it's not happening. Give in, tap, get yourself out of there, reset the round is my advice.
And I end up there again anyway.
keep tapping.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a really good piece of advice. Look, from a blue belt, I'm no one to give you advice, but as a white belt, reflecting now, if you get stuck in high mount, just tap, reset, keep getting stuck in high mount.
Again,
But learning how to tap, Daniela, is just such an important thing, rather than
100%.
being stalling and just progressing nowhere, because we know that our lives are better to progress incrementally rather than stay where we are. Bit of a life
Absolutely.
lesson there.
100%.
So talk to me a little bit, kind of progressing on from that and kind of growing the number of
Yeah.
women that you're training with.
It to live that high mount trauma, it taught me to stay calm under pressure. I was
Yeah.
before jiu-jitsu, I was a very act on my stress straight away and just
Yeah.
carry on being stressed from my stress. And I'd drive myself into an anxious mess.
Yeah.
But going through those difficulties in jiu-jitsu taught me to stay calm under pressure, whether it's somebody trying to choke me or it's something that life is throwing at me. If you panic, if you lose, just breathe, rethink the situation, stay composed, and you will eventually find a way out, as opposed to just panicking and sporadically and
Yeah.
throwing limbs left, right, and center and getting
Yeah.
armbarred in the process. And don't quit, because you're going to get smashed. It's inevitable. It's jujitsu. It's what happens. Sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. Sometimes you might be the nail for weeks, and sometimes you might
Yeah.
be the hammer for just a day. But it's just a vicious, fun cycle of jujitsu. And one day you realize that you will be helping the new guy to survive.
Yeah.
You will no longer be the new guy. You would have gone through your struggles. You would have learn how to overcome your own struggles, and
Yeah.
you'll then be helping somebody else to overcome those struggles.
Absolutely. I love that. I feel like there's some purple belt power wisdom coming in there, Daniela. I can see it and feel it now.
I can feel it in my bones.
And they're not broken.
No, luckily there's I've only ever had, luckily, touch wood, a popped rib, not even a broken rib, just a popped rib.
Oh, okay. I've had a kind of rib damage recently.
Not
I'm now
cute.
recovered, but how was that for you now you've mentioned it?
That was horrible. And it happened with one of the guys at the gym. Oh my God, he's so nice, but he's so tiny. He's probably only like 60 kilos. And it was an absolute freak accident. He was guillotining me. And I think I went to try and sit down into a guard, and
Yeah.
he kind of crashed down on me. And oh my God, it was like somebody sucked the wind out of my whole body. I couldn't breathe. I
Yeah.
just panicked, and Aaron panicked because he saw that I was in pain. And it was horrible. I couldn't sleep for weeks properly.
I echo your pain. The sleeping thing, I wasn't expecting a rib injury to stop my sleep,
Yeah,
but
it's weird.
you can't move and rest in the same
Yeah.
way. So look after your ribs, people. Of all the things, yes, there are fingers and toes and arms and legs to protect, and ankles,
Yeah.
but look after your ribs. Keep
And
the core.
sometimes the hardest part of being injured is not rushing the recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather sit out for 2 weeks than be on the sideline for 6 months.
Yes. Exactly. So, you have you train at 210 Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your ladies classes, and
Mhm.
just what it feels like for anyone that wants to visit 210 Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah, I've been very lucky. I was watching Chelsea Leah's podcast with you, and she was saying that she's been very lucky that she's trained at great gyms and she's had
Yeah.
great male instructors. And I agree with her in that sense. I've been very lucky that I've trained in great gyms. I've trained with
Yeah.
great people, and I've had great coaches, both female and male. Um, and the space that Aaron and Kieran have created at 210 is something that I want to share with all women who are even just a little bit curious about starting jiu-jitsu, because it's very important to girls, whether they want to be an athlete, or whether they just want to find a hobby in jiu-jitsu, or whether they're coming from some sort of trauma to jiu-jitsu, or
Yeah.
whether they're just just curious about it. I want them to come to our gym and be like, oh yeah, this is really comfortable. Whether you're coming to the ladies class or whether you're coming to the mixed classes,
Yeah.
all of the men and the women that train at our gym, they're just normal people. They're just normal, nice people. And there's people from all walks of life. And personally, I get on with everyone at the gym. All the men
Yeah.
at the gym are like my brother, uncles that I never have. I don't have any family here in the UK. All my family's back home in Brazil. So
Yeah.
the people at 210 are my second family. And I'm just very grateful to Aaron and Kieran that they've created that safe space for us, and they allowed me and Tara to start the ladies class, so we was able to share that with her, because where we live in Luton, there is a high Muslim community of women, and for them they don't have that safe space. So when Hayley started the self-defense class in the mosque, that was amazing, and then due to unforeseen circumstances that had to stop. And that went on for a couple of years. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, those women don't have somewhere to train jiu-jitsu. Like, there was other women's classes. There's a lady in Luton called Pink Diamonds Martial Arts, and she does great things for the women, for the Muslim women community in Luton. And me and Tara just thought, we want to give everyone a safe space to come and try jiu-jitsu. And if you've seen the pictures of my lady jiu-jitsu classes, they're a very diverse bunch of women.
Yeah.
From all shapes, sizes, religions, beliefs, whatever you are, you're welcome to come and train with us. I'm a firm believer of, if Daniela can do jiu-jitsu, anyone can do jiu-jitsu.
Absolutely. We can all do jiu-jitsu, and it's about having role models out there that kind of look and feel a bit more like some of us. You know, we're and we're not all high level athletes. We just want to learn how to kind of grow our mindset. That's not necessarily the initial plan, but just learn some martial arts, because actually it's really fun, and just making it more accessible for more bodies, male and female, to start training is kind of where we're at, because
and it teaches women things that they might not necessarily know about themselves. I know for myself that I didn't realize throughout my whole life that I was very competitive when it comes to things like this, or group games, or just that winning mentality. I didn't realize how competitive I was until I started jiu-jitsu.
Just imagine if you'd kind of gone to all those PE classes.
I
mean, you would have wiped the floor with everybody, Daniela, but you didn't know it then.
I didn't know, but I know now, so it's okay. We're still working on it.
I know. Hopefully we'll see each other in the absolute of something very soon, because it's going to be very exciting. I am scared, but we have to do these things. We have to step out of our comfort zone.
You grow in the scared zone.
Okay, yeah, you're absolutely right. Now, last time we spoke, we kind of touched a little bit on your kind of work profession as a dental nurse, and I asked you about the importance of wearing mouth guards during competition.
Yes.
Talk to me about that, Daniela.
I'm a bit of a hypocrite, if I do say so myself. I probably don't wear my mouth guard as much as I should, but please wear your mouth guards. Another little tip: please don't put your dirty mouth guards after they've been in your mouth on your ear, or your sweaty ear at that, on your gi where you've had your sweat, other people's sweat, other bacteria that are around, and then you're going to put it back in your mouth. Please don't, just leave it in your mouth. You can talk with it in. It's okay.
I think practicing wearing mouth guards is a very good idea for those of us that really struggle. We might have struggled at jiu-jitsu at the beginning. We might not struggle quite so much now, but it's the same with mouth guards.
It's the same with mouth guards. You might start off a bit gaggy, but you will learn to live with it.
I love that. We also spoke last time about a charity that you're supporting in Brazil. Do share some more around that.
So I'm from Brazil. I'm from a very small town called Nova Iguaçu in Brazil. It's not the postcard Brazil that you see everywhere. It's not near the beach. It's outside of the city. It's about 45 minutes from there. I do come from very poor background of Brazil. And when me and my husband and my daughter, we visit Brazil, we stay in that postcard side of Brazil. But there is also behind that postcard, there is the favelas. There's a very much divide between rich and poor in Brazil. And when we go to Brazil, we train at Carlson Gracie and Lemmy. And that is at the bottom of a favela called Babylonia in Lemmy. And the guy who teaches there, his name is Bruno. He has a social project in that specific favela, higher up in the favela. It's like in the middle of the favela, and it's literally a netted community of, I think it's a basketball court, and they put down jigsaw mats every night. They put them away every night. They get them out every night. And it's a social project for the underprivileged children in the favela. Every year we go, we take a bunch of gis from our gyms and hand them out to the kids. They're so grateful. It's beautiful to watch. And those kids, the level of jiu-jitsu that they have is crazy. Last time I went there, it was last December. I thought I was a well-seasoned blue belt, thereabouts. I was getting battered by these little kids, left, right, and centre. And I was trying my hardest. And they're so inspirational. We've done a couple of fundraisers here at our gym, where we've had a couple of open mats, had a seminar, and we've raised money for On the Hill Social Project to send some of these kids to Euros, to Pans, to some of the Brasileiros. There's a young boy called Gabriel, and we raised money for him to come to Euros, and he won gold at Euros.
Wow.
They're doing great things for kids, and we're constantly trying to find ways to raise money to help those kids.
Yeah.
We're going back in December, so probably going to take some more gis and go train with them again, because they're
amazing,
a lovely bunch of kids.
Is there anything anyone can do to help that project and help you kind of support that project?
Look on our 210 page. We always have fundraisers and stuff that we're doing for them. There is a link, I think, still on the 210 Instagram page where you can donate to the On the Hill project in Brazil. I will double check. If not, I'll get Aaron and Kieran to update it on there. But yeah, look out on our Instagram. We are always posting open mats where we're raising money for them. We're always making gym t-shirts and stuff to raise money for those children. And I can vouch that the money does go directly to fund these kids' flights, their gis and stuff, because they don't have it. They don't have the means to do these things. So if we can, why don't we?
Like, you know, anyone and everyone should have the ability to start training jiu-jitsu. And it sounds like, you know, the most unexpected individuals, or even the most expected individuals, get so much from it in terms of their own well-being. And, you know, we just want to make the place more lovely and supportive and kind of community focused, which
100%.
You know,
and they deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. Daniela, I feel like we need to have another conversation very, very soon, if not in person on the podcast again. But how can people follow your incredible purple power?
I got purple everything. The girls made me a big hamper, and Haley got me a purple hamper, and I was just feeling purple for weeks.
Nice, I love it. Long may it continue.
Yeah, my daughter said.
Yeah, go on.
My daughter said since I got my purple belt, I've become incredibly funnier than I was before. So,
maybe that's a skill of becoming a purple belt. You become more funny. Let us know.
And get to miss warm-ups.
Can't believe you said that, Daniela.
I never miss warm-ups. I promise. I never do miss warm-ups. I don't. I'm always there.
Right. Tell us your Instagram account.
My Instagram account is ddesouza __ Daniela De Souza, or you can follow our 210 Ladies page or 210 Jiu-Jitsu. We're always there, here and there.
Amazing. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to chat with you. Continue doing all the incredible work you're doing at your gym and for the other projects. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lou. It was amazing.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for telling your friends about this show. And as soon as this episode ends, I'd really appreciate you dropping the show a rating and a review. Catch you again on the next episode of the Jiu Jitsu Lu podcast, or even at the Celebration Open Mat and Grand Prix for episode 100 at Rising Tide Brazilian Jiu Jitsu in Western Superman.